Hello everyone and welcome to Randy's Old Time Radio Shows. Tonight we travel to South Africa and transport ourselves back to the mid-1960s as the gavel strikes and justice is on trial in Consider Your Verdict. This gripping courtroom drama let listeners play the jury, deciding guilt or innocence long before the final word. Its cases were so real they could have been drawn from tomorrow's headlines. So take your seat in the jury box. It's time to consider your verdict.
Now, look, Sergeant Longworth, you're a friend of this Bob Greenley. Tell him to stay away from my daughter. He's not in love with Beryl.
In the first place, Mrs. Harris, Bob Greenley doesn't happen to be any particular friend of mine. We just belong to the same club, that's all. In the second place, I think you're being a bit unfair to your daughter. And in the third place, it's got nothing to do with me.
Hasn't it? After all, you belong to the CID, don't you?
Don't tell me you want to bring police proceedings against him.
I know that my daughter is besotted with the man. She won't listen to reason. A married man with 3 children. No, my only hope's to get this fellow Greenley to leave my daughter alone. If he doesn't, I'll kill him, even if I have to swing for it.
It's time for you to take your place on the jury as Bristol Myers, makers of the Mum range of deodorants, Clairol hair care products, and Ipana toothpaste, invite you to consider your verdict.
Gentlemen of the jury, it is common cause that 52-year-old Robert Greenley was found dead lying in a ditch one early winter's morning on December the 21st last year. That is 1967. It is equally common cause that the inquest returned the verdict of death by misadventure, that he had been knocked down by an unknown motorist who failed to stop to render assistance to his victim. This, my lord, gentlemen of the jury, suggested that some hit-and-run driver was responsible for an accident which caused the death of Greenley. It may well be that had the prisoner at the bar's daughter been prepared to accept the killing of the man she loved, justice would have been defeated, and her mother, Rosa Harris, might never have been called to the bar of justice. I do not wish to anticipate the line which the defense will take. Certain I am you will be subjected to an impassioned peroration as to the duty of a mother to protect her young. For that, my lord, gentlemen of the jury, was the motive for this man's murder, and no self-respecting citizen can condone the illegal taking of human life. It is on that note I will call my first witness, the prisoner's own daughter, Beryl Harris. Miss Harris, it was you that visited Sergeant Longworth at the Buxton police station and declared that the death of your friend was not the result of an accident, but the deliberate act on the part of your mother.
Yes, it's true. Mummy killed him. She said she would. You wicked, wicked girl. It's just truth, all lies. They're not lies. You knocked him down and killed him.
Silence! Silence in court. As judge presiding over the proceedings, it is my duty to see that the evidence is led in a calm and dignified manner. The prisoner at the bar must be under great stress. By the same token, it is a unique experience for me as judge of many years' standing to listen to a Crown witness who is a daughter of the accused. All murder trials contain an atmosphere charged with emotion. It is impossible for me to expect for this situation to induce a calmness and objectivity. Nevertheless, prisoner will restrain herself as best she can in the knowledge that she has an eminent jurist to safeguard her interest. counsel may proceed.
Thank you, my lord. Miss Harris, I want you to tell the court what happened on the evening of the 21st of December last year. Of course, the information we seek deals with the events which you feel relate to the death of your friend.
He was more than my friend. We were going to get married.
Now, Miss Harris, there was an office party, was there not?
Yes. Bob and I worked for Seaton & Co. They're printers in High Street. Mr. Seaton had made his speech and gave up the Christmas bonuses. And we were all breaking up for the annual Christmas holiday when Mummy arrived.
Well, the boss has done his stuff. We don't have to stay. Come on, I'll take you home. Gary, we can catch the 7 o'clock bus.
All right. We better stay to say goodbye to Mr. Seaton.
Oh, no. Don't look now. But the tigress has arrived to protect her young.
What you... Oh, Mother, what are you doing here?
What do I look as though I'm doing? I've come to take you home.
Mummy, you shouldn't have.
Why not? Have you become ashamed of your mother?
Be silly. It's just that it wasn't necessary. Bob would have...
Bob would have what? Mr. Greenley, I understand that you've persuaded my daughter to accompany you on some sort of weekend over Christmas.
It's all perfectly respectable, I assure you, Mrs. Harris.
I've warned you enough time. Keep away from my daughter.
Mummy!
Oh, look, Mrs. Harris, it's near Christmas time. Peace, goodwill, and all that. I love Beryl.
Indeed. So my daughter tells me. And what about your wife and 3 children? Have you enough love left for them?
Please, Mummy, not here.
Oh, and why not? Frankly, I've come to speak to Mr. Seaton. If I can't persuade you to leave my daughter alone...
You're too late. Mr. Seaton's made his speech and he's gone.
Are you coming with me or are you not?
Look, you may as well, Beryl. You know, I've got to attend the annual general meeting of the Printers and Kindred Trades Association tonight.
What time will it finish?
Oh, about 10. There's no point in us catching a bus now. You might as well go home with your mother.
How kind of you. Now, look here, Bob.
All right,
Greenley.
Mother, let's go. You've humiliated me enough. Mother and I left.
And your mother drove you home. That is to the Buxton Spa Arms.
Yes. We live above the premises.
I see. Thank you. Now, this is important. Your evidence clearly indicates that your mother was fully aware of the movements of the late Robert Greenley on the evening of the 21st of December, 1967. You heard him tell her that he was going to this meeting, which would continue till 10 p.m.
Yes.
Had your mother made threats against the life of Greenley?
Frequently.
How dare you say such a thing? It isn't true, my love. It isn't true.
The court will establish the veracity of your daughter's testimony. I have already made it clear that you must contain yourself. You will have every opportunity to rebut your daughter's testimony.
I'm sorry, my love.
Your mother has just expressed her indignation at your statement that she threatened the life of the now dead man. Can you remember when she last uttered such a threat?
Yes. It was less than a week before he was killed. It was about 9 o'clock at night. And because it was busy in the bar, I was helping Mummy out.
And gins to Joe. He's certainly got his hands full tonight.
All right, Mummy. Joe, here are the gins for that table over there.
Oh, that nice couple, the Medcalf, have just come in. Over there, see, in the private bar. They've asked us to spend Christmas Eve with them.
Oh, I hope you didn't accept. On my behalf, Mummy.
Well, of course I did, dear.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mummy. I should have told you sooner. I'm going away for Christmas.
Oh, charming. And leaving your mother to...
Oh, Mummy, not now. Let's not argue.
You mean you're going with Greenley?
Yes.
My child, there's a name for women who take husbands away from their wives and
Oh,
children.
please, Mummy, don't be so old-fashioned. Bob and Joyce haven't had anything to do with each other for ages. Besides, as soon as his divorce comes through, we're going to get married.
He'll never live to get his divorce. Dirty, rotten swine. If he must be unfaithful to his wife, why doesn't he go off with someone his own age?
Don't raise your voice, Mummy. People are looking at you.
Who's going to pay for the Christmas holiday? You? He hasn't got 2 pennies to scratch himself
I don't
with.
have to listen to this. I'm going.
You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to let this man ruin my daughter's life. I'll kill him first, you hear? I'll kill him.
I didn't think Mummy meant it. Otherwise, I'd rather have given him up than this terrible thing should have happened to him.
Now, Miss Harris, let us return to the fated night. Your mother drove you in her car back to the Buxton Spa Arms.
Yes.
And then what happened?
There was the usual quarrelling. Mummy telling me that I must give him up. That all he was after was her money. I was so upset I didn't want any supper. I went to bed. I couldn't sleep with all the noise in the pub, so I got dressed again. I thought I'd go down to the saloon bar and have a snack.
Now, just a moment, Miss Harris. What time was this?
It was about 10:15.
And how do you know this?
Well, when I got into the bar, I looked at the clock.
Was your mother in the bar?
No.
Were you surprised?
Yes, very. I asked Joe, the barman. Joe said that Mummy had gone down to post a letter.
Please go on.
I stayed in the bar for about 20 minutes. Then I thought I couldn't face another scene with Mummy that night, so I went back to bed. I heard her car drive into the garage about 10:15.
Would you repeat that, please? You heard your mother drive into the garage at about 10:15 on the evening of December the 21st last year.
Yes, I did.
When did you learn of your friend's death?
The following day, when Sergeant Longworth came in the bar to tell us that they found Bob's body lying in the ditch. I had a feeling that Mummy had something to do with it. And when I attended the inquest and heard all the medical evidence, how there were signs on the road that he'd been dragged into the ditch, I knew then that my mother had killed the man I loved. I also knew that I had to tell the police.
Thank you, Miss Harris. No more questions. Miss Harris, you say that you also knew you had to tell the police.
Yes.
What had you to tell the police?
I don't understand.
I'll try and make it a little more simple for you, young lady. It was you that was directly responsible for the arrest and the charge of murder preferred against your mother. Well, were you or were you not?
If my mother killed Bob...
Do I detect a change of tone? Am I to understand that you're using the word if, that you now have some doubt? I see you do not wish to answer. Miss Harris, do you feel that you have vouchsafed information to the police that otherwise would never have achieved the light of day? In other words, Miss Harris, did you rush along to get your mother labeled as a murderess in case they missed something?
If you want to put it that way, yes.
Your loyalty as a daughter is most touching, Miss Harris.
What about my loyalty to the man I love?
The man you loved, indeed. How old are you, Miss Harris?
21.
And the late Robert Greenley?
52.
And you think it shocking that your mother should attempt to prevent an alliance between you?
That's got nothing to do with it.
We shall see about that. Miss Harris, there was only one way for Greenley to get his divorce from his wife, and that was to persuade the unfortunate Mrs. Greenley to divorce him on grounds of infidelity. Is that true or not?
Yes, but
For her to prove that her husband had committed adultery with you, a 21-year-old girl.
No. Oh, you mustn't talk to my daughter like that. She didn't. She's been foolish, but she wouldn't do anything wicked.
My lord, it is rare for a defense counsel to seek protection from his client. But I would ask this court to restrain the prisoner at the bar. My cross-examination of her daughter is vital and necessary part of the defense.
I'd rather be hanged at the gallows than anyone suggest my Beryl's moral.
I simply cannot have this. Unusual as the case may be, I would like to see both leading counsels in my chamber.
Immediately, my lord?
Immediately.
As your lordship pleases.
And so the trial of Rosa Harris is halted. Leading counsel for the Crown and the defense make their way to the judge's chambers. During this recess, we should like to remind you that this dramatic presentation is brought to you by Bristol Myers. The judge presiding over the trial of Rosa Harris for the murder of Robert Greenley has conferred with both counsel. The prisoner at the bar has been told that she will have every opportunity to protest her innocence and has promised to abstain from further interjection. Defense counsel continues with the cross-examination.
Do you think that your mother loves you, Miss Harris?
I think she was more jealous than loving. She was jealous and possessive.
You mean she wouldn't allow you to lead your own life?
Yes.
Do you remember your father?
How could I? He was killed by a landmine while he was still in the army.
In fact, he was killed some 4 weeks before you were born.
Yes.
And so your mother brought you up. Worked
feed, clothe, and educate you.
Well, I was her daughter, wasn't I?
That's, Miss Harris, I find difficult to believe. Now, your mother has stated publicly she would kill Greenlee rather than let him destroy your life. Do you think she meant that figuratively?
Oh, she said it, didn't she?
May I say to you, Miss Harris, that in a long and checkered career, I too have said that I would rather kill someone than witness a certain course of action. But I'm no murderer, I assure you.
You can say what you like. Bob was murdered, and the only person who wanted him dead was my mother.
I don't think there's any point in cross-examining you further. You may go.
I now call Detective Sergeant Mark Longworth. Sergeant Longworth, when did you hear of the death of Robert Greenlee?
At approximately 9:10 a.m. on the morning of December the 22nd, I picked up Dr. Wrigley and we drove to Cleveland Lane. Sure enough, lying in a ditch was someone I knew very well, Bob Greenlee. I took a statement from Mr. Burrows, the postman. He'd been delivering letters and saw the body as he was cycling down the lane. Dr. Wrigley said that the man had been dead for over 12 hours. And then I noticed something strange. You see, although it was very cold, there hadn't been any rain for over 24 hours. There were distinct marks of the dead man's body having been dragged from the side of the road into the ditch. What is more, there were specks of blood confirming this. An examination of the back of the man's heels revealed dirt from the road.
What did you conclude from this?
That he had been knocked down by a motor car and then dragged into the ditch.
Why motor car in particular?
Whoever had done this thing actually ran over the man. There was a tire track spreading diagonally across the back of the jacket he was wearing.
So it wasn't just a hit-and-run driver, but a driver who hit, ran over his victim, and then dragged the body into the ditch.
Yes, sir.
Carry on.
Well, sir, the tire mark on the jacket as well as on the road gave us clear indication as to the size and make of the tire. It was a Forsyth 252 tire.
There's no question of this?
None at all.
Carry on, please.
Well, sir, on the basis of the clues in our possession, we sent out a circular asking all garages to notify the police should any car containing Forsyth 252 tires arrive for repairs. In this, we were unsuccessful. At that time, we had no indication that Greenlee was a victim of a premeditated murder. As the result of a visit by Miss Beryl Harris and her signed statement, as well as a statement made to me by the prisoner some weeks before Greenlee's death, I decided to question Mrs. Harris. Mrs. Harris, Robert Greenlee was killed as he was walking home from a Printers Association meeting. Now, that meant walking along Cleveland Lane.
What's that got to do with me?
Did you know that Greenlee would be walking along that lane at that time of night on that particular evening?
No, of course not. Look here, you suggested
It's not what I'm suggesting, Mrs. Harris. It's what has happened. Someone knocked Greenlee down. It was pretty vicious. Having knocked him down, they ran their car over him and then shoved him in a ditch. Now, you say you didn't know he was going to be walking along that particular thoroughfare on the evening of the 21st of December last year. But your daughter says you did know, and she also
Never mind what my daughter says. That horrible man has bewitched her. She'll say anything.
I might as well tell you I've had a look in your garage. I see that you use Forsyth 252 tires.
Well,
Mrs. Harris, the man who drove that car, or the woman who drove that car...
I've had enough. Mark Longworth, if you're trying to tell me that I killed this wretched man, you must be out of your mind.
I see you've got a dent in the near side mudguard. How did that happen?
Not by knocking down Greenlee. I skidded and hit a tree about 3 weeks ago.
Supposing I tell you that your daughter said...
Never mind what my daughter says. I'm neither a liar nor a murderer. Oh, to think that my baby, the flesh of my flesh, should say such things about me.
What were you doing on the evening of the 21st?
Working in the bar. You know as well as I do, Mark Longworth, what I was doing on the 21st. You yourself came in for a drink that evening.
That was about 8:30. Your barman tells me that you left just before closing time.
I went to post a letter.
Did you take the car?
No, I didn't.
Supposing I tell you that your daughter heard the car return.
Then all I can say is that she dreamt it.
Aren't you glad he's dead? After all, you told me that if Bob Greenlee didn't leave your daughter alone, you'd kill him. Don't you remember that?
Of course I remember it. I wanted to frighten him away. Oh, Mark, you know I wouldn't do a thing like that.
I found her answers unsatisfactory, swore out a warrant for Mrs. Harris's arrest, and pulled her in.
Thank you. That is all.
Sergeant Longworth, take a look at that table. That's the mudguard, isn't it? You've examined it. You know it does belong to my client's car?
Yes.
The defense brought this mudguard to court. Why didn't you?
Objection, my lord. Witness is not responsible for the conduct of the prosecution of this case.
Really, Mr. Mortimer, you should know better. I suspect that you do. Please look to your line of cross-examination.
With respect, my lord, there is not a tittle of evidence against my client other than the statements made by her daughter and the witness. Since this witness has chosen to place emphasis on the significance of the dent in the mudguard, I would have thought that somebody would want to impress the jury with this vital exhibit.
Nevertheless, you know only too well that the sergeant in charge of the investigation has little or no influence on the conduct or method the prosecution is to employ.
I stand rebuked, my lord. May I humbly crave your lordship's permission to show this mudguard to the jury?
Permission is granted, but I will not be subjected to any impertinence. You are bordering on contempt.
In which case, I apologize, my lord.
Show it to the jury.
Pass this around, will you? Gentlemen of the jury, you will observe that this indenture has not broken the enamel. Therefore, there is no rust, and because there is no rust, it is impossible to determine whether the mudguard was injured a week, 2 weeks, or even a year ago. You will observe that it is less than 6 inches in length, and at its widest point no more than 3 inches laterally and half an inch in depth. Remember that the car that struck this man must have been going at a terrific speed to have knocked him down and killed him. Remember also that the nature and size of this dent in the mudguard is of such insignificance as to have been unnoticed unless it had been pointed out. Now, Sergeant, my client denies using her car that evening. The Buxton Spa Hotel is on the main high street. It is possible for Miss Harris to have been mistaken, that some other car might have driven and stopped nearby the public house.
I don't think so. It's strange to me that no one had noticed the dent in the mudguard before.
Yes, Sergeant, I would remind you that Miss Harris was arrested 3 days after the inquest, 10 days after the finding of the body. Neither you nor anyone else had commented on the injury to the car. That is all.
That concludes the case for the Crown, my lord.
Does defense wish to call any witnesses?
Only one witness, my lord. The prisoner herself, Rosa Harris. Mrs. Harris, did you threaten the life of Robert Greenley?
I may have done. I wondered where I went wrong, that my baby should imagine she was in love with... Oh, a chancer like that.
Why did you tell Sergeant Longworth you had no idea that Greenley would be walking down Cleveland Lane that evening when he was knocked down and fatally injured by a motor car?
Oh, do you think I remembered or cared what he said when I called to fetch my baby from the firm's Christmas party? Do you think I plotted to do a dreadful thing? Oh, it isn't true. It isn't true.
I am convinced that it isn't. Thank you, Mrs. Harris.
And I'm convinced it is true. Who else wanted Greenley out of the way?
I wanted him out of the way, but I didn't murder him.
I submit you did. I submit you were so desperate to save your daughter from this man that you decided to take your car out of the garage, wait for him in the knowledge that he would be walking along Cleveland Lane, and then accelerated at great speed with the deliberate intention of causing his death.
No, it isn't true.
I suggest that in your desperation you lost all sense of proportion, that you were determined to carry out the threats you have frequently made. I'm sorry for you, Mrs. Harris. Sorry for your diseased mind. Diseased, but not insane. Sorry for the fact that your hate for Greenley turned you into a killer. Would an ordinary hit-and-run driver pause to get out of his car in order to drag the unfortunate Greenley into a ditch? Are we to ignore the threats that the prisoner admits making against Greenley's life? Are we to disbelieve her own daughter's testimony? Of course not. Mercy we cannot help feeling for the prisoner at the bar. But mercy must be tempered with justice. And because of this, you cannot help but find Rosa Harris guilty of murder.
It is not my client who possesses the diseased mind, but her daughter. I suggest, my lord, gentlemen of the jury, that this poor, unfortunate young girl has become so obsessed by Greenley as to lose all sense of love and loyalty for her mother, all sense of decency and proportion, and because of this, her evidence has become distorted, colored to the point where it cannot be believed. I am not asking for mercy. I am asking for a verdict in accordance with the evidence you have heard and in accordance with the laws of this country. You have seen Rosa Harris, watched her anguished expression as her daughter sought to defame her mother's character. This woman is not entitled to mercy, for that suggests guilt, and she is not guilty. As true as there's a heaven above, you will be committing a crime against civilization if you bring in a verdict of conviction.
Well, you have heard all the relevant facts in the case. Would you say that Rosa Harris was guilty or not guilty of the murder of Robert Greenley? In just a moment, we will bring you the verdict recorded in the actual trial upon which this dramatic presentation is based.
Silence in court. Silence. Gentlemen of the jury, have you arrived at a true and just verdict?
We have, my lord. We find the prisoner at the bar, Rosa Harris, not guilty of murder.
Bristol Myers, makers of the Mum range of deodorants, Clairol hair care products, and Ipana toothpaste, hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of Consider Your Verdict, produced by Michael Silver. On Friday evening at 8:30, you're invited to listen to Medical File, another great dramatic series also brought to you by Bristol Myers. So goodbye until next Tuesday, when it will be time once again to take your place on the jury of Consider Your Verdict.
Rock Radio it is, and in a few moments you'll be able to hear General Motors on.
Well, everybody, that's all for tonight's episode. If you would indulge me for just 1 minute, I'd like to ask you for your continued support of Randy's Old Time Radio shows. It takes time and resources to keep these classic programs alive, and that's where you can help. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, please consider making a small donation. Every bit goes right back into preserving and sharing these wonderful old broadcasts. Of course, even a like, a share, or subscription goes a long way. And for those of you who have already supported this channel, I can't thank you enough. Together, we're keeping these golden age voices alive for future generations to discover and enjoy. In the description below, you will find links to donate, or you can just scan the QR code you see on the screen.